A lot of people are walking into 2026 carrying a quiet thought they don't say out loud. Everyone else seems to be moving forward, so why do I feel stuck? Now, let me tell you a story. On the edge of a busy city in the Midwest, there was an old transit terminal. Buses coming and going, people rushing, lives overlapping for just a moment. Behind that terminal stood a small coffee stand. Nothing fancy, just coffee, steam, and waiting. Every morning, Ethan sat there. He was in his early 30s, phone in hand, thumb scrolling, someone announcing a promotion, someone posting wedding photos, someone buying a house. Ethan stared at his coffee and thought, what am I doing wrong? He worked hard, stayed late, tried to improve himself. But at night, when things went quiet, there was this heavy feeling, like he was running, but not moving. One evening, it started raining, buses were delayed, people were irritated. An older man stepped up to the stand, soaked, but calm, and ordered coffee. He stood next to Ethan and said casually, "You sit here every day, but you look like you're trying to escape somewhere." Ethan laughed awkwardly. "Escape to where?" The man nodded. "Exactly." Something about the way he said it made Ethan open up. Without planning to, he started talking about feeling behind, about comparison, about constantly trying to become someone else and still feeling like he wasn't enough. The old man listened, then said, "What if I told you your life doesn't need to look like anyone else's to move forward?" They walked. Their first stop was a warehouse nearby. Inside worked Marcus, a logistics supervisor. Not flashy, no big title. The man asked, "What do you do best?" Marcus shrugged. "I remember systems, inventory, patterns. When something breaks, I know where." He smiled. "People don't notice until everything depends on it." Ethan felt something shift. Next, they passed a late-night customer support center. Inside was Claire, calmly handling a difficult call. The man asked, "Doesn't this drain you?" Claire nodded. "It does, but I'm good at listening. When someone hangs up calmer than they called, I feel useful." Ethan thought about how often he avoided conflict, thinking it meant weakness. Then they stopped by a startup office with the lights still on. Inside sat Jason, the founder, successful, respected, exhausted. Jason admitted, "Everyone thinks I made it, but every day I wake up afraid I'll lose it all." For the first time, Ethan understood. Every advantage hides a pressure no one posts online. Finally, they stopped near an unfinished building, concrete, exposed beams. "Most people stop here," the old man said. "They think foundation is the end." "So what comes next?" Ethan asked. The man smiled. "What comes next is whoever you decide to manage." That night, Ethan went home and wrote questions instead of goals. What am I actually good at? How do I work best? What do I value even when no one's watching? Where do I belong? What can I contribute? Which relationships am I responsible for? And who do I want to become in the next phase of my life? He didn't have answers right away, but for the first time, he had direction. Months later, the same coffee stand, same terminal. Ethan still sat there, but he wasn't waiting anymore. He didn't become someone else. He became a clearer version of himself. And here's the truth most people never tell you. We don't burn out because we're weak. We burn out because we're competing in the wrong race. We judge our lives using someone else's scoreboard. We chase visibility instead of usefulness, approval instead of alignment. Clarity doesn't come from copying others. It comes from asking better questions. If you feel behind right now, maybe you're not behind at all. Maybe you're just early in understanding yourself. 2026 can change everything, not because you run faster, but because you finally run in the right direction. If stories like this help you reflect, grow, and think deeper, stay connected, because the next story might start with a question you've been avoiding for a long time.